Like, comment, subscribe.
All right. So I actually want to discuss today the benefits and some things that are so much not benefits of, having a car versus, not having a car while being in college. Of course, there are some benefits to it. There are a lot of benefits to it, but again, there are some things that are not so much of a benefit while having a car. Um, First thing I will say is it honestly won't make a difference, especially during your freshman year of college. I mean, hats off to you if you got one during your freshman year in college, but if you don't, honestly, it's not that much big of a deal. It's not. The reasoning for that is because honestly, especially if you're going to a university, it's not going to be much that you know about in that city anyway during your freshman year, unless you get out to know people and you start to see things and whatnot and know where things are at. But honestly, it's not much of a big difference anyway. Also, especially if you go to a university, a lot of times these schools or these campuses have like buses that are normally either take you around the campus or they have another bus that would normally take you around the actual city in your local areas like local stores, maybe some malls, different places like that in order for you to kind of get off the campus a little bit. So that's something to experience. Also, there are some city buses. I know a lot of us aren't necessarily fond of taking a city bus, but it's an option there, right? It's an option. It beats walking. I tell you that much. Um, I'll say this for me personally. I honestly did not have a car until my junior year. And to be honest with you, I made it around just fine during my freshman and sophomore year without a car. I still went places. I still had friends who did have vehicles. I still was able to, enjoy myself. Around that time, it was honestly, I think Uber didn't really come out until maybe my junior year. No, maybe my sophomore. Yeah, my sophomore year. That's around the time Uber had just came out. It started kind of getting a little bit more popular. It wasn't necessarily around in every city at the time, or probably not even every state at the time. But it had just started getting going. Um, so that was just something to kind of keep in mind with. So, nowadays it's a little bit more convenient versus, during my freshman year, how we got around was either you knew somebody, you paid somebody for gas, or you took like a regular cab, and man, them cabs, oh my lord, I'm talking about enough to make you want to just consider walking. I know you ain't gonna walk because it's probably about 80 degrees outside in most places, but it'll make you consider it as high as the cab prices used to be. But I think Uber and Lyft and all these different uh carpooling businesses pretty much ran that out of ran the cab business out of business, unless you're probably somewhere in like New York or Jersey or something like that. But other than that, you probably won't really see too much of a yellow cab no more. You really won't. But yeah, I didn't have a car until my junior year. I didn't have the best car. It was a nice car. It got me from A to B to C. It had good AC in it. I was good to go. I bumped my music and you know all of that. Now while having a car, I can also knowing how. All right, so I had 2 years where I didn't have a car, which was my freshman and sophomore year, and I had a car for 2 years, which was for my junior and senior year. So I'm able to kind of tell you what's the benefits of having a car and what's the somewhat the detractors of having a car as well. Benefits of having a car, definitely not having to depend on nobody for sure. And it's able to kind of allow you to establish that dependence, that independence, for yourself. Um, but definitely not being able to depend on anybody like a friend, associate, or just anybody in general has always will always be a benefit for sure. Um, of course, Uber, like we spoke about, Uber, no, don't get me wrong. I used to Uber drive. I've taken the Uber before in the past. I've been the one to give other people Uber rides in the past. And one thing I can honestly tell you is that Uber is getting expensive. It almost seems like almost every year Uber just goes up in price somehow. I know it used to be a time where it would depend on two things: your location, meaning like what state or city you're in, and how far you were going. Nowadays, it's like you could be going 5, 10 minutes up the road, and you're gonna spend about $30, $40 for an Uber, you know, which is mad expensive. And of course, also if you're living that college life, we know a lot of times we go partying on Friday nights, Saturday nights. You may go downtown somewhere in your local area. You may go to a club or whatever the case may be. Ubers get real expensive around those time frames, especially when they know it's those Friday nights, Saturday nights, and people are, going out to have fun. Oh man, they hike the prices up on those things tremendously. I mean, it's almost outrageous how much the pricing be on Ubers and Lyfts, and things like that. Um, and I mean, if you have people that you're sharing the Lyft with or the Uber with, and you guys are splitting the cost, then that's totally fine. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard that saying or someone saying, "Go ahead and pay for it. We all gonna cash app you." And then you don't get no cash apps. But y'all so all happen to ride together, but you ain't get no cash apps of other people, what I'm saying, sending they half of the ride. So whatever you do, if you do find yourself in that situation, don't be the person that's actually, putting the Uber on their phone. I'd be like, hey, yeah, we all gonna cash app you, and you might not, might not get it. You might not get it. Um, and of course, another benefit is you ain't gotta walk. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, having a car, you're gonna get lazy as a mother lover. You are. And I'm talking about so lazy. I'm talking about if your car is right here and the trash can is right here, you ain't walking, you're driving. Just being honest. You gonna drive everywhere. You driving to the store, you driving to the dumpster to take out the trash, you driving to the mailbox. I'm talking about you is driving, especially on them days where it's like 80, excuse me, about 90 degrees outside, 95 degrees. Yeah, you ain't walking. You ain't doing you ain't doing too much walking. I'm just being honest. I know I ain't walking at no 90-degree weather, 95 degrees. Ooh, Lord, man. I'm already starting to sweat just from thinking about it. But yeah, it definitely prevents you from having to walk anywhere. Which can also, again, is a non-benefit. It can make you lazy, of course. Another thing is gas is getting high. It's like one day gas is super duper high, and the other day is still high. So either way, it's either high or it's too high. It ain't no in between. But yeah, gas is getting crazy out here. If you are able to afford it, of course, go for it. A lot of you guys may have good families who send you money and things like that, but a lot of people don't necessarily have that big of support. So gas can be very high. And what comes along with that is you have other people begging you all the time too, with giving them a ride. You're gonna have a friend here and there. They're gonna be like, "Hey, I give you $5 to take me to the store." And you look at these jokers like they crazy because you like $5, man. I can't even. $5 ain't gonna even get me. Ain't gonna even get me outside the campus. You know what I mean? $5 ain't gonna even allow me to crank my car up, click the gas on you, whatever the case may be. You talking about $5, man, and that's how it is because, believe it or not, man, most college students are broke. We are. A lot of us are broke during that time frame in our lives. We don't really have the best jobs. Most of us either work fast food, we work in like customer service related jobs, like in the stores, grocery stores, the mall. We don't necessarily have a fancy job. And a lot of us, again, we don't have wealthy parents, or we don't, we aren't fed out of a silver spoon. And if you are, awesome. But a lot of people aren't. And that's just something we just got to be real about, you know. Um, Also, something that you would have to look forward to is you have to actually pay to park your car on campus. Even if you live in like a dormitorial dorm area or a dorm building or apartment building that's owned by the school itself, you're going to most likely have to pay for parking because you have to pay for what they call a decal. A decal is like a sticker that they would normally put in the front of in the front of your car on the actual windshield on the driver's side. And that decal is normally checked daily by campus officials to make sure that your car is supposed to be on campus because everybody can't just be on and off campus. You have to be eligible and you have to pay for it. That even means parking it in your where you live at. If you live on campus, it means being able to park your car in by certain buildings on campus. Meaning, if you needed to go to class, certain areas you can't park during certain days. So, you're going to have to pay for campus parking. Because if you don't, 9 times out of 10, they will put a boot on your car. They may even tow your car. But them tickets are getting them boots off your car is not cheap. Man, I'm talking about not cheap. You probably gonna end up spending $100 some just to get it off your card. And again, a lot of us is broken. We need every dollar that we can get. So again, that's just something to kind of consider there. For my fellas out there, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you think getting a car is gonna help you get girls in college, it's not. It's not. It's not. 9 times out of 10, I'll be honest with you, most girls don't even really care, honestly, that much. I mean, I'll say if you do have a car, it is convenient if you want to take somebody out or you want to go off campus. It does give you options as far as being able to, date outside the campus more. But it's not necessarily needed. And if that's your goal of getting the car because you want to get girls, don't let that be the reason why you're getting a car because you will be highly disappointed. Just being honest. Um, but um, again, definitely some benefits to it, some not so much benefits to it. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what works for you. I wouldn't suggest getting one during your freshman year, but again, if you got it like that or your parents have it like that and they're able to help you, then definitely take advantage of it for sure. Um, but yeah, if you guys have any comments or any stories of your own of your time during being in college or some people that may be in college now, how's your experience with that? What was something you would suggest doing, and what were some benefits to you making the decisions that you made to get that vehicle, and was it a good decision or was it not a good decision? Because also again, if you really think about it, getting a car, it may require you to have a car note. And what comes with a car note? Car insurance. Um, and to be honest with you, if you're in college, most likely you're between the age of 18 to maybe 21, 22. And around that time, car insurance is very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. Um, and that's especially if you have a car that requires full coverage. And I'll let you all know let you all in on something. If you are making payments on the car, it's going to require you to have full coverage. And just that alone, you're gonna be spending over $300 or close to $300 on your car insurance um around that age. Unless you get put on your parents' insurance. Some parents may be cool with it, some aren't. But even if you are put on your parents' car insurance, you at least are going to spend at least $200, 200 to maybe $250 on car insurance. And again, does not include your actual car bill, meaning your not the insurance, but the car note. So again, it gets very, very expensive. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. All right.